So I revised a really annoying topic today and I'm gonna try making it less annoying for you. We start with something called as the null hypothesis. Let's take smoking causes cancer as the classic example. That is what we're trying to study. The null hypothesis in this study would be that smoking does not cause cancer. Basically, we disagree that an association between smoking and cancer even exists. So when you do data collection and analysis, you either reject this null hypothesis or you do not reject it. When you reject it, you say that smoking causes cancer. When you don't reject it, there is not enough evidence to prove that it does cause cancer. So that is when probability of errors in your test occurs. So in this table, we have the reality, which is that the null hypothesis is true or false. But on top, we have the test results, which either say that null hypothesis is true or false. So in that way, we can come up with two kinds of errors. First is alpha or type 1 error. We have a null hypothesis which is true in reality, but our test is saying that it's false. That means smoking does not cause cancer, but our study says that it does. So it is usually fixed at 0.05. That means there is 5% risk of a false acquisition that smoking causes cancer. This is sort of a false positive when you think in terms of the null hypothesis, which is that smoking does not cause cancer. Now we have beta or type 2 errors. In beta errors, the null hypothesis is false. That means that in reality, smoking does cause cancer, but our study says that smoking does not. We say that null hypothesis is true. We say smoking does not cause cancer. So we're failing to reject a false null hypothesis. This is sort of a missed diagnosis, but this can be reduced by increasing the sample size. Now I'll explain how that works. What is power of a study? Power is essentially 1 minus beta or type 2 error. So listen, we know that smoking causes cancer. So the power of a study tells you how accurately that particular study can actually prove that smoking causes cancer. So when you increase the sample size, I told you type 2 error or beta decreases. So when beta decreases, obviously power will increase. Now what is a p-value? Let's say you take a sample size of 10, out of which 3 smokers have lung cancer and 2 non-smokers have it. So there's increased chance that other things like air pollution, etc. are causing lung cancer and not just smoking. So you don't reject null hypothesis, you say that smoking is not causing cancer. Now you take a sample size of 10,000, out of which 2,000 people who smoke have lung cancer, but only 50 non-smokers have lung cancer. And this difference is way too much for it to be random. What is the likelihood that this is by chance and not because of actual smoking? And this likelihood or probability is what p-value is. So if the p-value is low, that means there is very less probability that this result is by chance and that there is an actual association between lung cancer and smoking. Reject null hypothesis and accept the 5% risk of having a type 1 error. And I told you that type 1 error is fixed at 0.05 normally. P-value, agar it's less than 0.05, it's a low p-value, your test will become statistically significant. And if it's a high p-value, you're unable to prove that smoking actually causes cancer.